Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand. Welcome to the Global Guided Meditation call for Saturday, August 30th, 2025, after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. Many on this planet believe that the source, which is to be some God outside of you, which couldn't be further from the truth. But for generations, decades, centuries, millennia, people have believed this. The source is within yourself. Period. Surrender, give yourself up to it. Seek the source within and merge with it. Ramana Maharishi. You want to make sure that you're in a comfortable position. No outside distraction. Relaxed into your body. Still as a statue. Focused on your breath rising and falling. So we all live in a world that's rapidly shifting, currently in this now moment, that literally ignores the fact that a supreme divine, all-loving intelligence lives within us. We've all been, let's just say, trained to believe we are spiritually disconnected and must fix our broken selves to feel whole and reconnected again. Now, we don't realize it, but we are just used to feeling spiritually numb. And we have been plagued every day of our lives by an overly materialistic society which is constantly seducing us with its glorified multi-billion-dollar hypnotic media program. And we have all contracted a deep case of spiritual amnesia and have forgotten how to relax into our spiritual essence and find our own intimate connection with the divine. It's why these meditations are made available on a daily basis. This everyday ignorance of our spiritual nature is the greatest lie that mankind is living today. And it is the cause of every moment of suffering. Each human being is currently, in this very now moment on this planet, enduring. Now, some do think this spiritual drought was created by mankind coincidentally. Of course, there's no coincidences. And it's not part of the grand divine design. Nothing is by coincidence or without purpose in this universe. Coincidence is something, a word that's been interjected in society and the planet to explain things away we don't understand, we don't comprehend. Now, this blind ignorance is within us all on purpose, so that we move more passionately towards a state of awakening. These intense levels of disconnection only drive us deeper inside of ourselves to find our own soul. Now, this lifetime that we currently are experiencing is meant to be a deeply enlightening experience. Is there anything more important than knowing how to access our own direct personal connection to an all-powerful, deep, eternal loving source of highly intelligent, creative energy that has the magical power to manifest anything our hearts desire. There is nothing more vital to finding happiness in this life than knowing one's spiritual connection, and nothing more exciting than a proven way to access it, which works every time. Now, one might say, well, that's all good and dandy, but why aren't we doing that? Well, in a way we are. We just don't know it, nor do we believe it, nor do we have confidence, trust, or faith in it. But we do it every split second. Most of the time we don't know we're doing it because the mind is shooting out so many different thoughts and directions. And those thoughts, which we don't really pay attention to, manifest. Because we aren't paying attention, we aren't fixating. We just send them out randomly. It's a choice, of course. It's a decision for each of us to say to ourselves, it doesn't matter how ridiculously stuck you feel about your whatever it is. You know, financials, relationships, health, sex life, future. There's always a way to reach freedom when you wish to gain a greater spiritual perspective in life. It's about clarifying your relationship with the divine. That's why I always say it's all about you. Determining for yourself to embrace and commit to the divine. And again, I remind people this is not religion at all. It's the furthest thing from religion. People get it mixed up, see. You say God, they go, that's religion. Well, God just a label, it's a name. That's all it is. Okay? And we use God as a description to describe what? The divine, the source. And all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. It's what it is. Pure energy. Of course, you don't run around saying, you know, I am communing with my pure energy. No, you say you're communing with the God that you are within the body. What would, now this is an interesting question. What would happen to the civilization in the event that there were no financial issues at all, everybody was wealthy, okay? What would happen? Be interesting, wouldn't it? Would that solve everything? No, it would eliminate a lot of things, but it wouldn't solve everything. Why? Because there's a key factor, major key factor. And what is that? The major key factor is that we do not know who and what we are, and we are not in heart-mindedness. That's a major factor. Now, everybody's wealthy on the planet, and they're an ego mind. Would be an absolute disaster. Okay? You know why? We watch it. As observers, we see this happening every day on this planet. See, an ego mind's highly insecure. So it doesn't matter if you were wealthy, you would still be highly insecure. Period. And by being highly insecure, you would not be at ease with yourself and deep eternal love with yourself and the God that you are. You'd be the opposite. You would be judgmental, ridiculing. You would become angry, confrontational, worried, stressed. Yeah, even when everybody wealthy on the planet. See, we actually miss it. However you want to say it, we miss the target. And that is embracing the God that we are through heart-mindedness in meditation. And knowing why you do the meditation. That's why this meditation is so simplified that I created, so that people don't have any issue. It's not complicated. It's not involved. Don't have to go see a guru. Don't have to sit, with Maharishis across the planet and learn about yourself. This is a self-discovery journey for the gods that we are in these bodies. And we choose when that self-discovery engages. Now, it may not be this lifetime. It may be another lifetime or one after that. It just depends. And believe you me, we have billions ahead of us, billions of lifetimes. Because remember, this is not a journey that ends. It is a journey that's always moving and running. It never ends. Because this is why we are what we are. We are creators. We are master manifestors. We are omnipotently powerful supreme beings that never die. We use these bodies as conduits, and we use them as a vehicle. And while we're in these bodies, and what we learn as who and what we are while we're in these bodies, then we can direct our master manifesting power to anything that we desire. So it's part of the journey. How many of us at this moment, in this now, have identified with that and embraced it? Who knows? Do you feel it that many have? Not really. Many are just now starting to clear their vision. And because of this transition, this metamorphosis, whatever you want to call it, this jubilee, this shift on planet Earth with the population, bringing them out of slavery and serfdom into sovereign freedom, that will change a lot of things. Moving away from material, physical, organic, and embracing the spiritual, the divine source, the God that we all are. Period. That means conflict is gone. Hatred, it means confrontation, self-abuse, abuse towards others, disrespect for oneself, and disrespect for all other things. See, you are a reflection of all of that. If you're a certain way, that's how it's going to be for you in this life. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. You're ornery, cantankerous, you don't like yourself, you got issues with yourself. That's how your life is going to be. Now, are we cognizant of that? Not really. For heaven's sakes, we don't even know who and what we are for the most part. If you go up to anybody on this planet randomly and say, how often do you meditate? They'd look at you kind of strangely. What's the purpose of it? To focus in the silence. In the silence is where the God is. That's you. Not out there flamboyantly running all over the place trying to hurry up and catch up. Most of the people in the rat race on this planet are in a hurry up to catch up, and they never catch up. That's what happens. And in that process, they become more flustered, more hurried, more in a hurry, more forcing things, more pushing things, all of it. Okay? And most of the people on this planet have contracted that. Always in a hurry, always rushing, Patience is not really prevalent at all. Focus is not prevalent. This is why when you look at the mass media and its incessant putting out fake, phony, and false information is to entertain and to keep the people asleep, distracted. That's how it works. And since everything on this planet has been geared to what? What's it been geared to? Having. And isn't it? For all of us? It's having is what it's been geared to. Advertise. Sell, 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 sell. Buy, 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 buy. See? It's like television was created to do what? Sell. It was a marketing tool. That's why it was invented. To sell things to the public. It wasn't about programming and all that. It was about to sell things. And did it? And is it? Yeah. For a long time, since the 50s. That the public got a hold of TV in the 50s. Early 50s. And it's been doing its thing ever since. Fake, phony, and false news, media, just to sell to the people. Sell, 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 buy, 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 buy. Always have to have the latest and greatest. Always have to be ahead of the curve. Having is the number one motivation on this planet. Believe it or not, that's what it is. Now, there's nothing wrong with having. There's nothing wrong with desiring. But there's measure and energy involved with that. And when you turn it around, you're the manifester, not that out there. You are. You choose and manifest. Not advertisements, not selling, not fake, phony, and false media, not any of that stuff. Do we need it? No. Did we ever need it? No. Who needed it? Those who wish to be wealthy. The ones that right now are being dismantled on the planet. See how ego mind works? You get to a certain point in the material physical world, you believe that you're better than everyone else. That's ego mind. Point blank. And we see this a lot as observers and watchers, not as judges. But you see it in the now very often. And that's ego mind. Ego mind shows us many things. And for us to be observers and say, and we step away from the ego mind and we look at it and say, okay, I got this. I comprehend this. And the only way to win the ego mind in your favor, in other words, it becomes your servant, you're not its anymore, is meditation and staying in the now. Because it doesn't exist in the now. If it were to go into the now, it would poof, disappear. Abracadabra. Be gone. Why do you think it does everything it can to keep us in yesterday and tomorrow? It's automatic all the time. And when you see this, not as a judgment, but as observation, you begin to manage and you begin to move the ego mind through heart-mindedness into your corner. And as I've mentioned before, it doesn't believe that the peace is within. It believes that peace is out there. It's like in heart-mindedness, when you fully have committed to remain in heart-mindedness, you are in communion with God always. And in ego mind, that's the opposite. It's true. And your relationship with God, pure consciousness, the divine source, is absolutely perfect. And you're always feeling your intimate connection with God. And on a continual, consistent basis, you're constantly connecting with the divine aspects of yourself. And you really starkly know the difference when you're living with this connection versus without it. And therefore your motivation is to be never without it. That's your connection with God. And this is interesting because a lot of people, well, I'm too old, I don't have time for that stuff. That's so far from the truth. You'd be 75, 80, 90 years old, and you're never. You never stop discovering who and what you are. Period. These are things that we should be focused on. Not that stuff out there. That is deception. Fake, phony, and false to keep us preoccupied. It's all it is. It's all it's ever been. How many times have you followed things that you kind of gravitate to, and you follow them, and they end up in a dead end? You're going along, and then it just stops. Rather than relying on out there, our true power is within here. Period. It's what we are. Omnipotently powerful, supreme manifesting, abundant beings that never die. We are the manifestors. And people go, we don't manifest all the time. We manifest every split second. We're manifesting our lives all the time. We create our lives based upon how we believe, how we perceive, and that's it. What we've been taught, all these things, our characteristics, our personalities, all of it. We create this. And one might say, well, then why are we all missing the boat? Why don't we know that we are master manifestors and we can manifest anything we truly desire or want? Because you are stuck in ego mind. That's why. And these meditations throughout the years give people an open view of how to master the ego mind, how to master your thoughts. And the most simplistic way, without complications, the only complications is your commitment strong enough to move yourself away from ego mind. Step away from it. Leave the mind alone. How do you leave the mind alone? You meditate like we do every day on this call, and you move into the now. Moment to moment. It's all we ever will have. Moment to moment. Day by day. Not year by year, month by month, week by week, hour by hour. It's moment to moment. And we remind ourselves of this on a consistent, constant basis. And we do that by addressing ourselves and saying how deeply grateful we are for the very moment or I'm grateful for this, I'm tremendously grateful for this, I'm tremendously grateful for this very moment I'm in, and you do it all day long, and it never becomes a redundancy. It is an honor and a joy, and it's a blissful feeling to identify and embrace the fact that you're in the now, the moment, space between heartbeats, space between breath, and not focused on this constant babbling noise outside of us. You got to have this, 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 got to have this. Got to go, got to rush. And you've heard me say this many times. You practice slowing down. What do you think these meditations do? They help you slow down. If you're in a hurry in a meditation, then you're not meditating. Far from it. You're fooling yourself. Hurry up and get done. Hurry up and get done. It should be an embrace, slow, loving, deep, eternal loving experience. It teaches you to love yourself deeply and eternally, all parts of you. It teaches you to surrender. Constantly you're surrendering. Just give it up to the universe. You want to give it up to the universe. The universe is God, God's universe. You can say give it up to God. However you want to put it. Receive, send, surrender. And slowly but surely, you'll make the transition from ego mind to heart mind. And that'll be it. And then you'll be living in a constant bliss, joy, happiness, and peace, and tranquility and benevolence. That's our natural state of being. Join in meditation. I'll return to close us out. Take an easy breath in through the nose, and an easy breath out through the mouth. Remain still, relaxed into your body. Focus on your breath rising and falling. You know you're an awakening being when in the midst of chaos and suffering, you are completely at ease. To arrive at this divine destination, somewhere, take about 30 minutes today and meditate on a vast space of nothingness all around you. Do this in complete silence. Just imagine that you are somewhere way out in the universe, and for billions of miles in all directions, there is emptiness. Put on eye masks, earplugs if necessary, so you don't see or hear anything. This spacious space is always available inside each and every one of us. When you truly want to awaken the spiritual experience in your life, I invite you to dive in to this spacious, silent place for as long as you can today. Take this with you for the rest of the day into the evening and night, the following morning. We'll return here August 31, Sunday, 2025, after 3:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal gratitude at all times. No matter what's happening within you or outside of you. Open your heart and allow the magic to flow in.